You're going to love it here. And I know that sounds biased, but every California buyer who calls me and says, we're just not sure about Vegas, they end up calling me about 6 months later saying, I don't know why we didn't do this sooner. And the funny thing is, they're not worried about the money. They're worried about making the wrong lifestyle decision. When you're coming from a $3 to a $10 million home in California, you're not worried about the buying aspect. You're worried about making the wrong decision. You're nervous about choosing wrong. Where people actually live, it feels like most suburban cities. You have areas where families gather. You have schools. You have places of worship. It feels very suburban, and yet you have access to everything that Las Vegas has to offer. So here's what I would tell you if we were sitting at dinner right now. Las Vegas is not the Strip. The Strip is one small corridor. That's it. Where people actually live, it can be quiet and calm, feeling very suburban. And depending on where you are, it can also feel extremely private. What you're really worried about isn't carrying two homes. It's this. What if we buy here and it doesn't feel right? But that only happens when you choose the house before you choose the lifestyle. I've noticed my California buyers usually fall into a few different buckets. Some want to be 20 to 25 minutes away from the airport because they're still traveling back and forth a lot. They want that access. They want restaurants. They want convenience. They don't want to feel isolated. Others, they want the country club lifestyle. They want guard gated, golf, a full social calendar. They want to be in the midst of a thriving community. On top of that, they want a layered feeling of privacy. And then I have clients who say, we are done with big city energy. We want quiet, we want space, and we don't care if the airport is 30 to 35 minutes away. None of these are wrong. They just accomplish your lifestyle goals uniquely. And by the way, guard-gated communities, they're not fortresses. They're controlled access and privacy. If someone needs serious security, that is an entirely different conversation. And the school question always comes up, especially if you still have kids at home. The biggest surprise for California families is this. The Las Vegas suburbs and residential areas of town do not feel like what you imagined Vegas feeling like when you were a tourist. They feel like master planned communities with parks and trails and schools and 4th of July parades and children's sports on Saturdays. It feels like suburban America. It's not neon lights and casinos right outside your window. That is the picture that you have when you don't live here. And yes, it's hot. I won't pretend that it's not. But I've heard it's a dry heat. But what we do to accommodate the heat is we just change up our lifestyle a little bit. Golf tee times are earlier, hikes happen in the morning, walks, especially with the dogs, happen earlier in the day. And then there are the pools. Thank goodness for the pools. Even if you don't buy a home that has one, we have many clubhouses and rec centers where there are pools available. And some of my clients have decided that when the heat hits, they are headed out of town and they don't return until right before school starts if they have kids, or maybe toward the end of August. But most of my clients don't struggle with the heat. They're ready for it when they decide that they're going to move here. Where the struggle comes in is making the right decision about the lifestyle they want to live the first time around. They struggle with picking the home in a community that allows them to live the lifestyle they want to the first time around. And then there's the California side. The mansion tax conversation, the timing of everything, whether you want to buy first, then sell, or sell first and then buy. And that's where we get into the strategy discussion, because that topic is not an emotional one, it's strategy. And honestly, buying here first lets you take advantage of finding the right home with the lifestyle you want without the pressure if your home in California sells too quickly. By the way, if we haven't met, I'm Eileen Guilbeault, and I specialize in helping people move from other cities to make Las Vegas their home. And the reason I love this so much is because it's not about buying a house, it's about recalibrating your lifestyle. If you're watching this and you're in that in-between stage, comment and tell me what you're most unsure about. Is it the airports, the schools, the communities, the heat, or is it something else? I read every single comment. The biggest mistake I see is people trying to navigate this from California. You cannot feel the community from Newport Beach or from the Bay Area. You have to be here to experience it. The smoothest transitions I've seen look like this. They buy their home in Las Vegas. Then they test drive the commute. They look and see how they feel about the schools. They actually live here through a summer and see what all the fuss is about. Then they decide what to do with the California home. Keep it, sell it, rent it. That is how you remove regret from the equation. And if you're trying to decide what to do with your California home before you move here, this is where it gets super strategic. This is the part that I love. The next video talks about the timing of that so that you don't lose leverage on either side. Watch that next, because timing is where it gets strategic.